get all the information for the conference, and we will keep you updated accordingly. Also, without wasting so much of your time, we're going to go into the main business of the day, which is introducing you to crisis management in the AI milieu. That's the theme. And we have a speaker with us. Unfortunately, our initial speaker, Afyong, was not able to join us today. So she sends a representative that's equally very good at what she does. And she has taken the time to do research on this topic. So she's going to take us through, and we're going to leave with very good information that's going to help us navigate the next era of crisis management and artificial intelligence. So I would like to introduce my colleague, Dora Apunku. And Dora is a digital public relations practitioner with extensive expertise in content strategy, influencer relations, social media management, digital marketing, and online reputation management. So please, I'll have Dora take the floor. Thank you for your time. And again, my name is Bright Emmanuel Okon. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please confirm that you can see my slide.
Yes, I see your slide.
Okay, standing on existing protocols. My name is Theodora Apunko, and I will be speaking on crisis management in the AI milieu, new threats, smarter responses. Now we'll begin with this quote by Afyong that says, "Crisis triggers emotion before logic gets a chance to be present. Control the panic and you've mastered the problem." Wow. I'm going to read that again. Crisis triggers emotions before logic gets a chance to be present. Control the panic and you've mastered the problem. Now, I'm sure everyone in this room has managed the crisis, or even more than one crisis. So now the question is not whether we are familiar with crisis. The question is whether we are working with the same timeline we used 5 years ago. So crisis management is not a communications exercise. It is a psychological one. So most stakeholders during a crisis situation operates from a place of fear or confusion. So now what happens basically when crisis happens is you do not want to be perceived as just a reputational guardian. So as a PR professional, you should be looking to restore safety first before trust. So this positions you as a crisis psychologist. Now take a look at the press statement that was issued by the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria about the suspension of the three medical practitioners. And the response from the hospital as Eurocare Medical Center, there was no atom of empathy. And you don't want to be perceived as someone that doesn't have empathy. So a review was done about the response that they sent to the MDCN to say that, oh, it was more like they were defending the doctors and there was no form of apology, no nothing. Now let's take a look at, in April 2010, BP's deepwater rig exploded, spilling millions of barrels of oil into the ocean. Now, what did they do? BP downplayed the disaster. They issued a poorly received apology in which one of them mentioned that, oh, that he cannot wait for this situation to end so that he can go back to his life. Now, it sounded very insensitive, and we do not want to come off as being insensitive. So imagine as a PR professional, you're handling such case. You want to read the emotional temperature of the room. You want to sound empathetic in everything that you do. So you manage what people feel when they hear it. You anticipate what will happen next. restore safety before attempting to restore trust. And then you measure success by stakeholder behavior. So this stands you out as a reputation, as a crisis psychologist, and not just a reputational guardian who just wants to deliver statements on time or manage what was said and just to respond to what happens. No, you want to go beyond that to show that, that human element of care, of emotion, to show that, okay, you understand people. People want to feel heard and seen. Now, what is artificial intelligence and why must PR professionals adopt it? Now, artificial intelligence, which we know as AI, stimulates human intelligence through machine learning and data analysis. What does this mean? It simply means that AI is a software that learns from data and uses those patterns to make decisions, generate content, and predict outcomes without being manually programmed for every scenario. One of the generative AI that we are fully aware of is the ChatGPT or your Midjourney or your whatever generative AI that you know of. So it studies the human pattern, it studies how well you feed it with data, and then it makes those decisions based on its own machine learning, and then creates content and predicts outcomes. So AI basically decides which messages are spam before you open them. Take a look at the amazing invention by Airtel with their AI spam app. So it can help to track spam even before you know it. So it will push it into a particular document that says as spam, or it will alert you to let you know that, oh, you do not need to open this message. This message is a spam. Now, AI flags fraudulent transactions in milliseconds before you notice. That's really amazing. AI monitors brand sentiment across millions of posts while your team sleeps. So basically, the question is no longer if you should adopt AI, but if you understand it well enough to use it before a crisis forces you to learn it. Now, this takes me to the dual nature of AI. Artificial intelligence, we need to understand the dual nature of this technology. Same technology, two different outcomes. It can both be used as a crisis accelerator and a crisis management support tool. Wow, this gets really interesting. So now let us first delve deeper into AI as a crisis accelerator. Like I explained earlier, AI is a software that learns from data and uses those patterns to make decisions, generate content, and predict outcomes without being manually programmed for every situation scenarios. So this simply means that when you take your phone and you post the content and people start to engage it, AI, which we all know as the algorithm, is going to work on that engagement and push it. That's what we know as your viral content. Now, what this does, what happens during a crisis in this case is that it makes the threats invisible until it is too late. What do I mean by this? 2 weeks ago, my mom sent me a video of a dog. They were blaming a situation of a baby falling down from the stairs based on the dog pushed the baby. And I looked at it and I saw that forwarded many times on WhatsApp. And looking at the video, I could tell that, oh no, this is definitely AI generated. And I had to explain to her that, oh, look at the baby's limb. It has 6 fingers. I mean, a baby, the limbs were distorted. It was so obvious that, but, it wasn't so obvious that it was an AI cloned video. So AI voice clones, deepfake, and synthetic media are really, really indistinguishable from reality. So by the time anyone questions the authenticity, the damage is already done. That's where the problem is. So it makes the threats invisible until it's too late. Another thing is that AI compresses its crisis timeline to minutes. It takes 30 minutes for AI to push a crisis. So it's all it requires is 3 seconds of audio, and that's it. Decision has been made even before your phone rings, even before you know what's going on. Another way AI serves as a crisis accelerator is that it removes the human gatekeepers from the spread. So like I mentioned before, when the algorithm is always active, it does, and one thing that it doesn't do is that it doesn't fact check. So meaning that if someone posts a video and it's not true, once engagement happens, AI or the algorithm is not going to check if that information is accurate. It's going to distribute itself. It's going to make it viral. It will go viral and then people will see it. So by the time you want to start pushing out, oh, this is fake, this is false, they've already seen the damage. So AI would remove the human aspect of it. So for example, as PR practitioners, when we go through or we see or someone gives us a brief, we're going to, assess it. This is true or this is true. It's generative. So if you do not feed it with the content, it will just push it. That, like I mentioned before, the algorithm, it will push it far and you're not even sure of the information that it's going out. Now, AI makes correction structurally harder than deception, like what I mentioned before. So because this tool or this video, for example, has gone viral, before you come out to say, okay, this is wrong, and you're trying to mitigate the situation, it has gone far. Now, it gets interesting because the same tool that caused the problem can actually be a solution. I'm sure you're wondering how. When AI or this is used on your own terms before the attack, you can use it as a super tool. How, you may ask. Now, AI can be used as an early warning tool before the crisis break. So we have things that we call AI-powered social listening tools. We have the Google Alert, the Meltwater, Brandwatch, and some even use Brand24 to scan for synthetic content and unusual sentiment shifts in real time, giving you the intelligence window before crisis breaks. So what it does is, by the time, it will show you the different mentions. So if, for example, your brand XYZ has been mentioned in the media 200 times, it will notify you. So all you have to do is, oh, I need to check the sentiments around this conversation. What is going on? What are people saying? Does this pose as a risk or not? So that way you can mitigate it before it becomes a crisis. Now, AI serves as speed or verified counter messages, like AI-assisted drafting and pre-approved statement libraries allows the verified response to be published in under 5 minutes, closing the gap between the fabrication and the correction. So where you have is your Meta, for example, which most of us know as our ad tools to run ads. So this is where this will come into play, because you are trying to solve a crisis. It's already out there. People have seen the video that says, oh, this happened. This person was accused of let's say, theft or whatever form of any example you might think about. So when you use those tools to push the video, that way it closes the gap between the false information that has been put out there and the truth. Now, AI would help to reach beyond your own channels, as to reach audience beyond your own channels. What do I mean by this? So, for example, your client has 100 followers on Instagram, and a crisis happened, and you're trying to reach more people. Like I mentioned before, you run ads so that you can go further and reach people in the digital space. So basically, what would do as public relations practitioner would be, oh, you have to do a press release, you have to get approvals, you have to contact somebody to help with influencer. So what AI does is going to close that timing and make it faster. So everybody's on digital space. Everybody owns a phone. So AI would help you reach beyond your own channels. It will help you to push that and amplify whatever content that you're trying to reach out there beyond your own audience or beyond what you already have. Now, another amazing thing about AI is the simulation and preparedness before an attack. There are so many tools. Okay, let's even narrow it down to ChatGPT, for example. You can ask it to create a situation, right? And to simulate it so that it gives you different realistic scenarios. So that way you can prep for a crisis. You can even understand it before it happens. Now, there's a particular quote we always say that you do not prepare for a crisis in a crisis. So before crisis happen, it is actually best to simulate those things that would happen or scenarios before they happen. Now let's look at case studies so that we can have a holistic understanding of AI as an accelerator and also as a crisis accelerator and also as a super tool. So looking at Sterling Bank, not Sterling, Sterling Bank in UK. Now in September 2024, fraudsters used AI to clone customers' voices from as little as 3 seconds of social media video. I mean, almost everybody today is a content creator, and meaning that your voice is out there. As long as you're posting something on the internet, your voice is there. And what this clone needs is just 3 seconds of your voice to clone a video. Now, they called for, and so what they did was they picked that voice, cloned it, and started calling family members. They impersonated their loved ones and requested for urgent money transfer. Now, by the time Sterling went public to say, oh, this is what's going on, hundreds of cases had occurred and millions were at risk. Now, what did they do in this case? Very amazing. The same tool that caused the problem, like we said, AI as a crisis accelerator, is AI that was used to clone those voices to push it out to the fraudsters. That same tool was used to solve the problem. How? They used the social listening tools and different other AI, and they found out that in this survey, very interesting, that 46% of people were unaware that such a tool exists, there's something called, they were not aware that we have apps that can clone voice. And they also found out that 12 out of the 3,000 plus people that they surveyed over 3,000 people. And they found out that 8% of those people said that, okay, if someone should call them, and even if they know that it might not be authentic, they will still send the money. So that's like really a cause for concern to say that, oh, there are some people that will still send money even if they are not sure. What did they do? They launched what is called a safe phrases campaign. Now, the beautiful thing about AI was that they had to, partner with an actor, James Nesbitt, and they did a demo voice cloning live for people to see. And they cloned his voice and did like a demo, played it so that everybody can see how this works. And then under the umbrella of safe phrases, what does this safe phrases mean? They told people, okay, call your family members or your friends and make sure that you have a particular phrase that you use. So especially for cases like money, it could be, oh, if I'm speaking to you and I say, I need this money, I beg, please. Or you don't hear a particular phrase, know that, oh, it's not me that's asking for money. So they pushed that campaign aggressively, digitally, through the help of AI. So it was amazing that the same tool that caused the problem was what they used to mitigate the problem. Now, let's even bring it home to Nigeria now, where we are. What happened in the case of Dr. Ibuku Awoshika's AI deepfake? Now, 2 months ago, there were speculations about AI generated videos of Dr. Ibuku Awoshika on Facebook, WhatsApp. In fact, so many people saw the video. And in that video, showed her, endorsing investment platform that did not exist. Now, she didn't even know about what was going on. It was someone that had to call her to bring to her attention that, oh, have you seen this video? Do you know this is what is going on? So they cloned her voice, her face was cloned from years of public speeches. Like I mentioned before, once you are in the digital space and you're posting content, you stand a risk of your voice being cloned. And they used it as a means to push out their propaganda or whatever thing that happened. Now, what happened was there was no monitoring system to flag the content before it spread. Discovery was accidental. A contact forwarded the video to her directly. So it means that if a contact hadn't forwarded that video, she wouldn't even have been aware that it happened. And by the time she knew, video had reached mass audience and people had already invested in those platforms. So no institution had a pre-built deepfake response protocol. So let's just look at what was missing. Dr. Awoshika issued a personal public denial to say, oh, I mean, that's the first thing to do, to say, oh, I'm not the one in that video. And then African Check confirmed AI fabrication. Now, although what they didn't get right is that there was no pre-built response protocol existed. Correction reached only a fraction of original audience. Another thing that we also need to work on in our industry is that there's no post-incident governance change announced. So how do we, moving forward, the world is changing and we see a lot of things happening in the digital space, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence? What's the way forward? How do we mitigate such things that happen? Now, I think one thing I forgot to also add is that there are so many tools that you can use to decipher a deep fake video. So we have tools like sim scale or any logic. You can use those two to screen videos and to show you whether if they are real, authentic or not. Now, this takes us to what we must do as PR practitioners. So we must understand what AI can fabricate, how fast, and at what cost. If you cannot explain a deepfake to your clients, you cannot protect them from one. So we must know the trend in AI. We must be open to to learn a lot of things that AI is transforming in the nearest future. So now that we've seen what AI can do, we have other ways that AI would be used. So we also need to position as a strategic advisor and not a reactive executor. So practitioners who command retainers are called before the crisis. To end that call, you must already hold the protocol your client does not know they need. We should also advocate for AI regulations. So AI crisis management is no longer a communication function. It is a boardroom priority. PR must earn a seat at the table by arriving with evidence. Now, we also need to build a 30-minute protocol. From everything that I've mentioned, it's obvious that 30 minutes is enough for crisis to move, especially when you have the AI. So you should have pre-approved statements, like the quotes that I mentioned that I actually like. You do not plan for a crisis in a crisis. So you should have pre-approved statements, a named response owner, social listening tools, and fact checker contacts assembled now and not assembled under pressure. So when things like this happen, you are able to lead and you're able to mitigate such situations. Another good thing that we should also do is run simulations. Make your clients run them too. A crisis drill is not a luxury. It's the only way to find governance gap before a fraudster, journalist, or algorithm finds them first. So I'll conclude by saying that AI is not a threat to public relations. It's an invitation. We must understand that you are not just better communicators, you are indispensable. Becoming a PR professional who understands how to operate AI is where your value increases and earns your place at every boardroom table. Build the protocol, learn the tools, and make sure that when the clock starts, you're already ahead of it. And that's why at CMC Connect, we decided that this shouldn't just remain a private internal conversation. It needed to become an industry advocacy. That's why we came up with the Crisis Management Advocacy Month in the month of March, so that people can be aware that this AI can be a tool, the dual personality of AI, that AI can be a crisis accelerator and also as a super tool when used the right way. So I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. Thank you to everyone for giving us this platform to be here. And if you have any questions, feel free to share. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so very much for that brilliant presentation. Thank you so very much. So we are in the Q&A section now. Yes, if you have question, kindly unmute and ask your question. We are going to do that in the next 3 minutes. Do we have anyone question on mute? Or you want to put it in the chat box so that it can be read out?
Recommendation.
Okay, please go ahead. Okay. Oh, yes, or commendation or contribution, whatever it is. You may also have maybe another perspective to the presentation, or you want to further reinforce what has been said or reiterate a point that has been made. Okay, I can see. Okay, Dr. Oguyombo. raising his hand. You have the floor. Please go ahead now.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for the presentation. I think it was quite good. The presenter was able to navigate a little bit more as it regards this conversation around artificial intelligence. And it is not surprising then that our affiliate body, that is the Global Alliance for Public Relations and Communication Management, last December launched what we call the Venice Pledge. The Venice Pledge is the position of Global Alliance for Public Relations and Communications Management on issues around artificial intelligence in our profession. For those of us who were at that power launch, we listened to the leadership of Global Alliance when they explain some of the areas that as public relations consultants we must be very aware of and prepare, like the presenter said, for those times, those days when artificial intelligence, rather than being a helpful tool, may become a pain in the neck. And I will advise that we all get familiar a little bit more with those with that particular position, the Venice Pledge, so that we can align a little bit more with what the presenter have just said. It's interesting that a tool that is supposed to actually aid the working problem. We're talking about cloning. We are somewhere around December, January. I was at a meeting where approvals were given by the board. Please underline the word board. The board approval were given by the board for somebody to be paid after a virtual meeting with the management. It was made that they realized that the so-called board chairman and the board that sat with those people on that virtual meeting was not true. That was what the person said. And he told me that that particular organization lost some money. They were able to recoup some, but they lost quite a lot of money. So that can tell us how dangerous it can be if we are not alert. So thank you very much, presenter, for realigning us in this area. And that is why we have always emphasized. I would just want to say that again, as the chairman for Training and Professional Development Committee for NIPR, we have always encouraged our members not to miss out on opportunities like this. So please, I will encourage each and every one of us to continue to take opportunities in developing our expertise so that we will continue to be that brilliant professional that we all seek to be. Thank you very much, CMC Connect, for sponsoring this. Thank you very much, Madam Presenter. We look forward to more of this. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Doctor. Thank you so much, CMC Connect. Thank you, Doctor, for that insightful contribution to the discourse. Thank you, everyone. So without much ado, we're going to move on quickly to other businesses that we have. And in our tradition, we're going to be welcoming our new members. You know the way we normally do it. And even while at this site that we have currently, we're also going to be doing that. So on this note, we're going to be presenting to us 4 of our new members. They represent the other members that are joining us. And I will want you to join us here to welcome them all to this noble profession. the profession that brings so much excitement to me. You know, the profession that each time I think